You are listening to day 14, the final coaching lesson in the Self-Love Challenge series on Wife Teacher Mommy, the podcast. Today, we are going to look at just how far you've come. We're going to celebrate that, and we're going to look at how you can keep this practice going even as the challenge wraps up. Welcome to the Self-Love Challenge series on Wife Teacher Mommy, the podcast. I'm your host, Kelsey Sorensen, a former teacher, current homeschool mom, and a certified life coach. Whether you teach in a traditional classroom or from your kitchen table, I'm here to help you not only survive, but thrive as an educator. Let's go on a self-love journey over these next 14 days so you can pour some of that same love you give to your kids, your families, your communities, to somebody who deserves it just as much, yourself. To get started with the free Self-Love Challenge, I recommend starting from the first episode and listening through each day. But to get the full challenge experience, go to wifeteachermommy.com/self-love-challenge to register for free to get the scorecard to track your progress, a daily email with the link to your audio coaching lesson, and your journal prompt. It is free, and registering will get you more support with the challenge. Now let's get to today's coaching lesson. Day 14, you have made it. You have hit play on your final coaching lesson for this self-love challenge. Congratulations. That is not a small feat. To put aside approximately 10 to 15 minutes each day to listen to this and then the time to do the journal prompt each day is no small feat. So I hope you'll feel good about yourself. I hope you can congratulate yourself for doing this challenge and also for what you've seen from your observations from yesterday. What did you learn about yourself? We're going to look at 3 things to see how far you've come and to keep this self-love coming in the weeks, months, years, decades to come, even after this challenge ends. So first, I want you to get out your journal entry, your observations that you did of yourself. And by observations, that was when we looked at our thoughts, feelings, things we were doing, just really tapping into ourselves. We did that on day 1 of the challenge, and then we did it yesterday on day 13. And what I want to know is, what growth did you see in those 2 weeks? I want you to take some time to really think about how you've applied this work and grown with everything you've learned in just the short time period of this challenge. And if you can do that in this short period of time, imagine where you could be a year from now if you kept applying this work. Next, I want you to celebrate this win. You just completed a 2-week challenge. A lot of people probably gave up before this point. Not you. You did it. How are you going to thank yourself and recognize that completing this challenge was a huge gift of self-love that you gave to yourself? And then finally, how do you plan to keep this self-love going now that you've completed this challenge? Now, what is going to help you to keep it going? It is that 3-step framework that I've mentioned a few times throughout this challenge. So first, we want you to continue to observe yourself. This is not something we want to stop doing. Now that you've learned what your thoughts, feelings, actions, how those are all impacted. And I want you to continue to tap into those. What am I thinking right now? What am I feeling right now? Continue to stay tapped into that mind-body connection and take that time, just a little time each day or each week, to become that student teacher, that self-compassionate, curious observer where you just want to see what's going on with you. We're going to keep up that practice. Next, we are going to continue to choose our direction. And it's not a one and done thing, right? It's not, oh, today I chose I'm going to do this and it's going to be that forever. Because one, you might get to the point you said you wanted to get to. You might change your mind on where you need to go. So we're going to continue to choose our direction and choose it again. And then third, we are going to continue to align ourselves with whatever direction we are currently going. That's like our inner compass. We're looking at, how am I doing? Am I on track? You're going to notice when you're not. That's okay. You're going to get back on track. You're going to get quicker at noticing. A quote that I love that kind of really ties into this is from Gabrielle Bernstein from her book, The Universe Has Your Back. And she says, I witness that I am out of alignment with my power. I choose to see peace instead of this. And you could even say, I choose to see self-love instead of this if you wanted to. To continue observing yourself, choosing your direction, aligning yourself, it does help to have a tool or resource, like you had this challenge, to help you continue to utilize it and continue the self-love you've cultivated through this challenge. Maybe you plan to just continue listening to this podcast and other great podcasts out there. Maybe you plan on reading one of the incredible books that I linked on my book list. I gave you quite a few that you can check out and read. And continuing to read books like this are going to keep this at top of mind. And as you may or may not know, I'm actually working on a book right now. And if by the time that you are listening to this, that book is out, maybe you'll grab a copy so you always have that to reference. Maybe you're going to go through this challenge again every so often. This is here. It is a resource for you. You can always come back to it. Maybe you want to work one-on-one with a therapist or a life coach. And you can look if you want. I might be taking one-on-one clients right now when you're listening. You can check if you want, but there are so many professionals out there who you could work with. Maybe you plan on being an accountability buddy with one of the friends who you invited to this challenge, who you did this challenge with. And doing it with a friend makes it so much easier because you can help each other. You can even call yourself out on things like, hey, maybe you're not being so nice to yourself right now. You can gently guide each other back to love and reflect back to them, hey, I see this about you. And sometimes it's easier, especially if you have someone who you're comfortable having that type of relationship with. And if you haven't invited a friend yet, invite them now. They can come and do the challenge. You can talk about it with them. You could do it again with them. They can start anytime. Even if you're listening, oh, but the challenge is over. It's not over. It's never going to be over because it's going to continue. I created this challenge with longevity in mind. So we're going to keep it running. People are still going to be able to register. They'll get the email each day starting whenever they register for the challenge. And if you're listening to that, you might be like, yeah, I know that. I started it later. So that's great. That's just speaking to the people who are doing it live. So again, it's accessible for anyone to start anytime. Just tell them to go to wifeteachmommy.com/self-love-challenge. They can do it. You can both talk about it and remind each other of everything that you've learned. The most important thing that you find what works for you to keep this self-love going. Keep the self-love journey going. Don't stop now. I really want you to keep that momentum going. And another option, like I mentioned lots of things, but one that I, of course, need to plug, and especially because it is the sponsor of this challenge, is to join me inside Wife Teacher Mommy Club. I'd love to not only just talk to you in your earbuds or like typing on the Facebook group, but have you actually come face to face with me and be your life coach. And it's definitely the most accessible way to work with a life coach that I know of. Even most memberships that I know of cost more than ours does. And it doesn't come with the events or the resources and all the other things that we offer here, the stuff we ship in the mail to our members. It's so much fun. And it's not just me talking to you on the podcast, but you get on a call and talk to me. Let me coach you. And also you get to listen to others being coached, which isn't really what you get here on the podcast. I really see it as a privacy issue. And this is like a sacred work. So those stay on the club member podcast only. We don't put them out publicly. So you don't really get to hear coaching that often here on the podcast, where we're actually not just sharing the tools or giving general examples, but applying them and seeing those light bulb moments happen in real time. It's so powerful. And you get the replays, instant access to every coaching that we've ever done. And the coaching we use in the club, it is research backed. It simply works. So you've probably seen some of it at work here with this challenge, but I want to tell you honestly about the research. So Sunny Smith, she is a life coach for doctors, very similar to how I am a life coach for teachers and homeschool parents. And she was also certified by the Life Coach School. She used the same methods that we use here in the club. Me and all my fellow coaches are certified with the Life Coach School of Brooke Castillo with the model, among other tools. And Sunny, because she's a doctor and very deep into research, she has had there have been multiple studies with doctor coaches. One was with Sunny and one was with another group, I believe. Again, I actually have a plan to have her on the podcast. It just hasn't happened yet. I want her to explain these to me a bit more because they are like very researchy, scholarly studies, but these studies have proven they looked at, it was a group coaching for doctors, right? So imagine this is group coaching for teachers. And what they found, doctors, they have a stressful job just like teachers do, right? And this group coaching in this group format was proven to effectively reduce burnout while increasing professional fulfillment and personal self-evaluation, self-love, right? And that is what we are here to help you with in the club. So I would love, love, love for you to learn more and how to join me. If you're even just curious, going to the page and checking it out is not a firm commitment. So just go to wifeteachmommy.com/club to learn more. And you'll even be able to see testimonials from some of our members. But we're also not quite done with this challenge yet. We snuck a little extra thing on you. While this is our last coaching lesson, our live wrap-up call is happening next week. For those doing this challenge live with us, that's happening February 21st, 2024. So if that date has not hit yet, you can attend this wrap-up call live for free. If you are listening before then, if you're registered on our email list, you will get a link to join us for free. If you're not, make sure to go and register, wifeteachmommy.com/self-love-challenge. You'll be registered. You'll get the link for that. If you're listening after February 21st, The podcast will go live on February 28th, 2024. So if you're on that date or past when you're listening, you'll get to listen on the podcast right away. But if you can't come on the 21st, you will have to wait until the 28th to listen on the podcast, because we aren't sending out a replay. It's just that's the recording, and then it's going out on the podcast on the 28th. But I anticipate a lot of you will just be listening later, and none of that is relevant. So don't stress. I plan this challenge for longevity in mind. So it can continue to be a resource for years to come, and you can just hit play on that wrap-up call right now. So no matter when you're listening, I would love for you to continue listening to the podcast. Make sure that you are subscribed. We've got a large back catalog of episodes for you, and I'll continue to pop into your earbuds once every week for free. I'm just going back to my regular pace now. But if you want to continue to have more personalized support and a group of educators who are putting this work into action, I would truly love to be your coach when you join me inside Wife Teacher Mommy Club. Again, congratulations on completing this challenge. I am so glad you joined me. I hope you learned so much. I would love to hear about the progress you've seen. Feel free to write a review on the podcast to tell me what this challenge did. Tell me what happened. I read each and every single one. I would love to hear how this challenge made a difference for you. Again, congratulations on completing the self-love challenge. You are well on your way to continuing this practice of self-love throughout your life. Thank you so much for being here. I am so honored that you joined me.
The biggest thing I was worried about when joining Wife Teacher Mommy and when I was on the fence was the price, which is not that high of a price, but at the time I'm spending money on all these other things to help me. I just decided I'm going to try it, and I don't regret it. This is where I should have started.
Wife Teacher Mommy is the club for you. You don't have to be all three to benefit from this club. I am a teacher that is not a wife or a mom, and I can just tell you, though I was hesitant at first, it's the greatest decision that I've made for myself. Wife Teacher Mommy is there for your highs and for your lows and for your in-betweens. And if you have a bad day, you can always watch a replay. If you have a win to share, you know that you will be celebrated big. And when you have tears, they hold space for your tears as well. In this world where you're taught to mask your emotions, the Wife Teacher Mommy Club does the opposite, and they teach you how to allow yourself to feel those hard emotions and what to do in order to process them. And so if you're hesitant or on the fence at all about this, please make the decision to join Wife Teacher Mommy Club. You will be glad that you did.
I have a really hard time spending money on myself. So if you are in that boat, I totally get you. I think the biggest thing for me was that it's got to have a lot of value if I'm going to spend money on it. And that was one thing that so impressed me about Wife Teacher Mommy Club. It's the coaching program, and you get all of the Teachers Pay Teachers store for free. And there's so many just bonuses and prizes you can win, and special events, and the Facebook group, which is an amazing community. And I had been looking into different coaching programs and different teaching programs for a while.
What does it hurt to try, right? Just try it and look around, browse. If it's not for you, cool. You tried, no harm, no foul. But I doubt that will be your experience, especially if you're a new teacher. And even for veteran teachers. Again, what Wife Teacher Mommy has to offer is just abundance of resources, and not just stuff for in the classroom. But again, there's this community of teachers and coaches, and you can rely on one another. You can talk, you can vent, you can strategize, share ideas. So it's this nice community, so many resources. So like I said, if you're debating, try. Just sign up for a month, look around, get your feet wet. If it's not for you, cool, that's fine. But it most likely will be, because it's phenomenal for all teachers.
Thank you for participating in our self-love challenge. For the complete challenge experience, make sure to go to wifeteachermommy.com/self-love challenge to get the scorecard and a daily email with each of the journal prompts for free. And if you're enjoying this challenge, please consider sharing the love by sharing that same link, wifeteachermommy.com/self-love challenge, with a teacher friend or a homeschool friend or all of the people you know who might be interested in this free resource. We have a mission to help as many educators as possible, whether they teach children in a classroom or in their living rooms, to not only survive as an educator, but to thrive in teaching and life. This challenge has been brought to you by Wife Teacher Mommy Club, my signature coaching program created especially for teachers and homeschool parents. Inside the club, you can join us for weekly live life coaching with me and fellow club coaches, VIP access to our summer and winter Educate and Rejuvenate conferences, a library of resources to save you time, and even a private podcast feed where you'll get to listen to every single coaching call we've ever done, all the Educate and Rejuvenate sessions, and so much more. If you love this challenge, why not spend just a few minutes checking it out and seeing if it's right for you? It may just be the ultimate gift of self-love that you could give yourself, because it'll help you take what you've learned in this challenge from the 2x level to the 10x level. So go to wifeteachermommy.com/club to learn more. I would love to see you there, but either way, I will keep seeing you right here on Wife Teacher Mommy, the podcast. If you are listening to this right now, that means you listened all the way to the tail end of this episode, even after the outro. And if you want more where this podcast is coming from, I've got you. If you are hearing this message right now, that means you still have time to grab our limited time offer to join us in Wife Teacher Mommy Club for just $14 for your first month in a celebration of the release of our Self-Love Challenge. For the month of February 2024, you can get your first month of the club for just $14 instead of the normal $37 for your first month. This is a great way to try out the club and see if it's right for you, all while getting lots more support during the Self-Love Challenge. You'll be able to come to our coaching calls and ask your questions, get personalized support from me and fellow Wife Teacher Mommy Club coaches. And if you decide to join us on the annual plan, you're all in and you're going to join us for a year, you'll get an even bigger discount plus some exclusive February-only swag, including a planner and a teacher tee. So go to wifeteachermommy.com/club to learn more about the club and see all that it has to offer. Going to check out the sales page is not a firm commitment, so just go check it out and see if it's for you. It just might be the ultimate gift of self-love that you could give yourself. I hope to see you on the next coaching call inside Wife Teacher Mommy Club.